Hey beautiful beings, it's Gavin Speaks. Here's 4 shocking signs they stole your soul and they didn't even tell you about it. Okay, number 1, they basically gave you a birth certificate. They gave you a birth certificate. They gave you a certification that your name is this, this, and this. And then also your parents had to put their name on the certificate, which causes all kind of legal problems, especially if the baby isn't his, right? And it creates a lot of problems in this world because the birth certificate, as soon as you're born, you're basically put on the stock market. You're a piece of meat. And when a ship docks into the berth, they call it a berth, B-E-R-T-H, they're required to have a certificate to let the country or the dock or whatever it's called, right, know what's on board the ship. Okay, they have to let the port know, okay, I got this product, I got this, these people, whatever it is, right? They have to give clarification on that. So when we're born, we have to tell the government, that we are here now, okay, and we are part of the system, we're a slave to the system. So as soon as we're born into a trap. We're born into the matrix. And then they take the baby away from the mother and the father, and they go do all kinds of stuff, right? Injections and cleaning up the baby and all of this stuff. But we don't realize that even just cleaning the baby in the wrong way messes up our immune system. We're born with a special biome on the body, which is very, very powerful for us. Okay, but that's wiped off. And you may have never heard of this before, but many cultures still practice this. Also, they tell you to cut the umbilical cord and get rid of the placenta. Right? You're supposed to keep the baby connected to the placenta, and the placenta is going to provide a bunch of nutrients to the baby when the baby is born. But guess what? You're told to do the opposite of that and just throw away the placenta. I'm sure they keep it. They do something with it, right? And so don't allow the inorganic ones. Well, we've allowed it already. But don't allow the inorganic ones to further destroy your life. Take back charge of your life. Take back charge of your time. Take back charge of your energy. Get grounded in nature, right? And so we want to acknowledge and realize that we've been tricked from birth. The second shocking thing that's happened to us, which is really powerful actually, a lot of people are starting to change this, especially in my community, in my group. Basically, we have to go to school, we have to go to kindergarten, we have to go to school, we have to get an education from the system, okay? We have to learn from the system their agenda, their criteria. You have to learn this, 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 and this, and this. And once you pass and you get your grades, right? You learn your ABCs, you learn the alphabet, right? Once you learn how to spell, right? And you learn the language and all of this stuff, right? Now you get another certificate, you get a degree, you get basically a license to get a certain level of job in your life, right? And so they require us to have to learn the system, all right, so that we can become a cog in the system. And once we become a cog in the system and we pay our taxes and all of this stuff, we think we're doing something good, but we've been propaganded from birth. We've been taught that we need to do things this way, otherwise you're not going to survive in society, you're not going to do well in society. And so they created a way for you to make money, to be a slave to the system. And now they're even tricking us and manipulating us into taking the jab, because now we're going to lose our jobs if we do not follow the mandates. And so it's kind of crazy right now on the planet, and we want to basically realize our power and realize our truth. And so some parents, especially in my group, they're actually starting to homeschool, right? They're starting to teach, starting to homeschool, because they no longer believe in the system. The system is backwards. And so this is a great thing that's happening on the planet right now. We are waking up and realizing that the system doesn't work. It may work for the inorganic ones, but it doesn't work for the ones who are chosen, who are awake, who realize that this is totally bullshit. How were things before all of this, control and power and megalomaniaism, and we want to imagine like growing up in the jungle, just imagine we didn't grow up in a concrete jungle and what it would be like. In Africa, for example, we will have certain tribes and cultures and a foundation and love and connection and all of these kinds of things. If we look at the Mayans and South America and all of this stuff, the native Indians, right? It's a totally different energy, but the inorganic ones took over and created colonialism, right? They want to suppress, control, power, manipulation, which moves on to the next shocking fact that we have sold our souls, that we're listening to the television, we're listening to the inorganic ones, we're listening to the governments as if they love us, and they use manipulation tactics to make us think that they care, to think that they love us, but they do that as a form of manipulation, as gaslighting, as love bombing, so that we think that they are on our sides, when in actuality they are not on our sides. They never have been and they never will be. There are very few governments that are on our side for real. There are very few governments who actually genuinely 100% care about human beings. That they see us as human beings, as light beings, as beings of love, and all they teach is to go against the ego. And anything in society these days that goes against love, so anything that in society that goes against ego, is promoted. It gets big, right? We've got the Meta coming out, the new Facebook metaverse, and it's just crazy how these ego-based things can become so popular and be taken as something that's normal. We want to find our entertainment in the inner world, entertainment or innertainment, and attain ourselves, take back control of ourselves, and instead of the government controlling us, we want to govern ourselves. We want to take governance, we want to govern ourselves and get our hearts and minds aligned with Source and God. If everyone just did that, get their minds and hearts aligned with God and Source, we wouldn't have any problems on the planet. And I'm talking about God in terms of love-based God, not the opposite or the opposition, demon time, right? Not these sorts of gods and beings. And we want to ask, who are these celebrities? Some of these celebrities, some of them say, thanks God, thanks to God, right? But I've always thought, what God are you talking about when you say that? Because I don't want to be a part of your God, whatever God that is, right? I'm talking about the Most High, I'm talking about angelic, I'm talking about light, I'm talking about truth, I'm talking about unconditional love, I'm talking about isness, right? I'm talking about Pachamama or Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, right? The real stuff, the organic stuff. And so they're giving us foods without seeds. They're taking the grapes out of the seeds and calling it organic. How can you have grapes without seeds and call it organic? Grapes are supposed to have seeds, right? A fruit is supposed to have seeds. If you're taking the seeds out, you're taking out the mother, you're taking out the feminine. And it seems in this world, they're destroying the feminine dynamic, they're destroying the feminine energy, and also they're working on destroying the masculine energy too. We are creating so much beta simps who will just pay women to, you know, show their toes, pay women for their bathwater. They'll watch a bunch of pornography, you know, get addicted and all of this stuff, and we're creating a bunch of beta simp males who are not protecting the woman and the children. And so we would rather give money, and the family dynamic is being broken down, and it's beginning to get worse and worse. There's chaos being created, but I think the chaos is being created so that order can be created. A lot of people are discussing this on the planet right now. A lot of people are talking about how the dating market is horrendous, and it's hard to find you know, someone to marry, to settle down with, to have family with, and all of this stuff. And it's just got way too complicated. And so we have a challenging time on the planet right now, and what we need to do is just basically get back to ourselves. That is the main thing that we need to do, is get back to ourselves and realize our truth. If a 9-to-5 is not for you, figure out how to become self-sufficient and make your own income. If you're struggling for money right now, think about moving to Mexico or Bali. Or Bali, actually, you require the vaccine. I don't know if you want to take the vaccine or not. Like, but a country like Thailand or Vietnam, where the living cost is like $500 a month, $300 a month. You can live on $300 to $500 a month in these countries. And I'm talking about breakfast, lunch and dinner, eating out. I'm talking about having a cleaner. I'm talking about having a swimming pool, right? I'm talking about still doing fun activities, right? For $500 to $800 a month, right? And so I understand sometimes you don't want to leave the family behind, and sometimes you have family already, and you know, you're taking them out of the school and all of this stuff, and it's quite complicated. But do you really want to follow the system? And that's the trap. The trap is, oh, I got to stay in the UK, I got to stay in America, I got to stay in my state, I got to stay here because of my family, because of this, because of that. Don't fall for the trap. That's what they want. What about my mortgage, right? It's a death trap. The mortgage is a death trap. Morgue, right? Mortgage, right? It's a death trap. The mortgage is something that you pay for the rest of your life. The mortgage, you pay to your death, right? You want to get rid of these things. Even Kanye West spoke about in his recent interview that he doesn't want to pay no mortgage. He doesn't want to have a house, right? He wants to be a nomad that travels around the world, and he's got homes all around the world where he can stay with friends and family and all this stuff. He wants to live a free life. And this is someone who is a billionaire, okay? He wants to be free from the system. So if a billionaire is thinking that way, right, how should we be thinking? Not that money is the criteria for thinking as a genius or thinking outside of the box, but he's got all the money in the world to buy whatever house or whatever it is that he wants, but yet he doesn't want to own a home. He doesn't want to own a home in that way. So don't get trapped in the matrix thinking that you need to stay where you're at. And now they're starting to lock down with all the traveling and all of this stuff, and now you need a green passport and this vaccine and this injection. So the time is now. You need to make moves if you're wanting to go travel. I'm going to be planning to travel pretty soon. So the system, all right, the way to start escaping the system is to start working on your inner world and getting rid of these subconscious programs. getting rid of these energy blocks, these money blocks and all of this stuff. You want to eradicate this stuff so you can manifest way better, right? You want to raise your vibration, your core vibration in the right way. And that's why we offer the free energy reading and the manifestation diagnosis session in the description. Go ahead and get that. I got crazy testimonials and transforming people's lives, and you could be our next success story. I create 6 and 7 figure income success stories. I've helped people find their soulmate, their twin flame, and all of this kind of stuff. All right, the link's in the description where you can go check that out. Check out my previous video over here on what I would do if I started over, you know, and with manifesting, what I would do if I started over, the 3 things that would just radically transform your life. Very, very powerful stuff. And here's my 3-part series on how to raise your vibration correctly. And remember to keep learning, keep growing, keep expanding, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace.